This segment is brought to you by Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate. I'm pleased to introduce my guest, Terrebonne Parish Register of Voters, Rhonda Rogers. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, this week it's, what is it exactly this week? It's Voter Registration Awareness Week?
Correct. Voter registration, and I tie in voter education in this week as well. And we try to go around the parish just to make it maybe a little bit more convenient, make it a little bit more easier. We're not in our office. We're outside our office. Maybe people feel better talking to us, approaching us that way, just to give out information on what we have available on top of hopefully getting more people registered to vote.
Certainly. And what is one way, I guess, you are registered, where you can register to vote? Because I know that's also often a question. It's been probably, well over 20 years since I did it, so I can't even remember.
Right, and it's changed. And years ago, you could only register at my office. You could only come in and take your oath at the office and register in person. And of course, with technology, things have changed, and we're trying to keep up with technology and keep up with the younger crowd to keep them interested. Yes, we want you guys to register as well. So there's now opportunities to register online. Of course, you can still come into the office, but even at public assistance places, there's opportunities. At libraries, there's opportunities. And even at the DMV, if you renew your license or if you get your license, that's another opportunity to register to vote.
Okay. Now, this year, is there any, changes to way you're doing certain things? I know with the upcoming elections, you have some ballots that are about to go out. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So this year, we do have an October and a November election. The October election is a parish-wide election. So we are getting ready to send out our mail ballots. We have about 2,000 people currently on the mail ballot program. So next week, we're putting those ballots in the mail. However, they have been redesigned. If you are a friend of Terrebonne Parish Registrar of Voters on Facebook, you can see all the new images and all the new designs. But the purpose of redesigning the ballots and the envelopes is to make it easier on the voters. It's a number system. Did you do number 1? Did you do number 2? Did you do number 3? There's highlighted sections to make sure that the voter's aware. Don't forget to do this before you return your ballot. So we're hoping to make it less burdensome on the voter, a little bit more easier task, because it was overwhelming. It was very wordy, very cumbersome. So this is a brand new design. The first time we're sending it out is this year, and I'm interested to see the feedback and what the voters think.
Okay, and to get the absentee ballots, what do you have to be eligible for that?
There's many reasons why you may qualify for a ballot by mail. Automatically, if you're 65 or older, you can apply for the program and you stay on the program for 4 years, and then you renew yourself after every 4 years. There's other opportunities that may arise. Maybe you're military, maybe you're an overseas citizen, maybe you're a college student. Those are other opportunities that may arise where you can request the ballot, or you're not going to be in the parish during early voting or election day. So you still want to get your vote in. It's very important to you, but you have to remember that you have to apply for the program and you have to be approved for the program.
Okay, and is there an upcoming deadline with the October elections?
Yes, there is a deadline for the request, which is October 7th. So that, I don't encourage you to wait till October 7th, because with the mail ballot program, it has to be put in the mail. So now you're depending on the mail, not only to get you your ballot, but for you to vote it and get it back to me by that deadline, which is the day before the election, October 10th. So that's tight.
Okay.
So the better, the earlier you do it, the better.
All right. So that's one thing that's different than some other states, because some other states, as long as you put it in the postmark before the voting day, that's why it takes so long for some of those elections. But
Correct.
Over here, you has to be received.
We have a hard deadline.
Okay.
And it's to the point where on Saturday, when it is election day, the mailman will come and he'll give us the ballots on Saturday that he had in the mail. And we call every one of those voters and let them know, look, your ballot came in, but it is a day late. So if you want to vote, you must go to your precinct and vote.
Well, that's a good system that you have. That's okay. So you have the October election, and then the next one is the November. That's a district-only election?
It's a district only. Right now, it's just Rec 6.
Okay.
But there is a deadline to put more props on the ballot, which is September 22nd. I haven't heard any buzz about anything else being on the November ballot, but that doesn't mean something may not come up.
Okay. And for the October 11th election, when is early voting? That
Early voting for that election will begin on the 12th, November 12th. No, I'm wrong. October 5th.
Let's see,
here
September
it is.
27th?
November, which one are we talking
We're
about?
talking about we're going back
Back
to
to October.
Yeah,
September
sorry.
27th. So it's at the end of September, which is a Saturday. So keep that in mind. It's Saturday to Saturday, September 27th to October 4th. We are open till 6, but we are closed on Sunday.
Okay. And when do you have to be registered to vote, to be able to vote in that election?
We have multiple deadlines for registration. If you're coming in my office, if you're registering in person, if you're sending your information by mail or maybe through a third party, that deadline is September 10th. But if you do the online, the Go Vote registration app, we have more checks and balances in that system, and it does a background check immediately. So that one would be September 20th.
September 20th. Okay. So you still got some time if you're looking to get registered for that. We do need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk about some other changes, specifically the open primaries and closed primaries, how that's going to affect in the future. But don't go anywhere. Stay tuned right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and I'm sitting here with Terrebonne Parish Register of Voters, Rhonda Rogers. Rhonda, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks again for having me.
All right. I know as part of Voter Registration Week, you're doing some outreach at some schools. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can. I always reach out to our high schools because we have our potential new voters and in the schools, and it's easier sometimes to get them there. So next week, HL has invited me over. So on Wednesday, I'll be at HL. And one thing that most of the students tell me when I say, do you want to register to vote? Well, I'm only 17. Well, lucky for you, we can register you at 17. So we can pre-register you at 17, and on your birthday, you become eligible. So if your birthday happens to be election day, you get to vote on that day.
There you go. So you can get a head start on, you don't have to wait till you turn 18. That's
Correct.
a good thing.
Correct.
And is that as well, people that come apply at your office, can they do that at 17 as
They
well?
can do that at 17 as well, yes. And a lot of people, that's their stop. I'm 17. So I understand. It's something you don't know about unless you're told about it. So when we go to the high schools, they get excited. It's a big deal. We register them. They get their sticker that they registered to vote. And when they get their voter ID card, they're valid. For an example, this year, the primary election is on October 11th. My son turns 18 on October 12th. So
Well, there you
I'm going to
go.
pre-register him. I already told him I'm coming to you, but he'll miss the October election by one day.
Just one day.
Yes.
But it'll be in place for November, though.
Yes.
So hopefully they'll have something, but they might not have anything.
Yeah,
in
I
his,
think he won't be
district.
eligible until the spring. So
Okay, so let's see what else. I know there's an app that you have available that you can go to check some
Yes.
things. Can you tell us about that?
the Go Vote app is very user-friendly. It's easy to use, and it has everything you need election-related on there. You can do everything from registering to vote. You can change anything on your registration, which is one thing to mention. A registration deadline is not just about your registration. It's not about new registrations. It's about existing registrations. Did you move? You need to change your address. Do you want to change your party? Did you get married? Do you want to change a name? Those kind of things all have to be done as well by that registration deadline.
Okay.
So that's something you can do on Go Vote. You can look up your polling place. It will even GPS you to your polling place. Early voting, of course, is at my office, but Election day, we have 39 different locations, or 37 different locations where our polling locations are. So it'll GPS you there, and the best part about it is the sample ballot. Preview your ballot, know what you're voting for before you get into that booth.
Certainly, yeah, that is a big thing because you never know what you always think you know, but there's usually one or two more questions on there or taxes or something. And rather than holding up the line, especially
Right.
if you're voting on the day of election, it's always good to see
And
that
that's a lot
before.
of times what the voters will tell me. I didn't even realize this was going to be on my ballot. So that is a great resource for them to do the research they need to do before they get into that voting booth, because the props are not written in my terms. They're written in legal terms, So
Exactly.
you want to know exactly what your yes means and what your no means.
Okay, and unfortunately, some of those legal terms are still not legal enough, and they get canceled later through lawsuits.
You're
But
right. You're right.
so it takes a little while. It's always good to look at that before. Now, in the future, we're going to have a little bit of a change that Louisiana's moving to a closed primary system. Can you tell us, what y'all know at this point on how that's going to affect everything?
We have a lot of changes coming, but the biggest thing to take away from our closed party elections in Louisiana is that it's not affecting every office. Currently, the way the law is written, it's going to affect 5 offices. It's going to U.S. Senate, U.S. Rep, Louisiana Supreme Court, Bessie, and Public Service Commission. That is it. So that's where you're going to, if I'm a Republican, I vote the Republican ticket for those 5 races. If I'm a Democrat, I vote the Democrat ticket for those 5 races. But if I'm no party, I pick my party, or I can do the unaffiliated ballot because maybe governor's on there, maybe school board members on there, maybe your council members on there. Those are not closed races. So I think the biggest confusion is that people are thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to vote. Not necessarily. So when we get closer, we're hoping to do a whole lot more outreach, a whole lot more education. And with that Go Vote app, using that sample ballot to really take a deep dive and look at what is going to be on my exact ballot will help the voter prepared for that.
Yeah, that'll be good if the sample ballot is designated or it does exactly how you're registered and it's going to show
Right.
what you can vote for.
Right.
That'll be really helpful, I believe.
Right. And one of my big takeaways as well is when I have a friend of mine that said, well, why is this on my ballot and my next door neighbor has a different ballot? Because you didn't change your address. You just got busted. So, we have to update your address and we have to make sure you're voting where you live. That's very important. So a lot of people don't think of that. They moved, but they don't think of us. So change your address if you make a move. It affects your ballot.
Good, and it could just be one street over and you could have a
Exactly.
totally different,
You're right.
But, and again, if they do need to change their address, that's something they can do on the Go Vote app? or
Correct.
come
On the
to your
app,
office?
in person, it's so easy to do, but it just takes maybe 5 minutes to get it done.
And again, when that closed primary system comes around, if you want to change your party to be able to vote, that
Right. Those deadlines will apply to that as well. So we're going to have a lot of new terminology. We're going to be saying a lot of things that we hadn't said before. So we're going to try to train our voters to think that way as well.
sounds good. Well, thank you very much for coming on. We
I appreciate y'all having me.
All right, stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by Rouse's Markets. Feels like home.